What was the worst pain you have ever felt? Cluster migraines. I seriously wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. I get cluster migraines, so I feel you. Can I ask what you/your neuro have tried for it? All painkillers up to morphine didn't work, medical weed works somewhat but not really, and pure oxygen works reasonably well. The oxygen is seriously what I would suggest. Depending on the intensity of the cluster you have, and according to my neurologist, I have mild clusters although they don't feel like it in the moment, and people who have even worse ones have all my sympathy. The oxygen will help, but it takes some time. It does not start working immediately, plus you have to breathe it in deeply, which might be hard when your head is exploding. Accidentally kicked a concrete wall when I was about 7 while playing soccer barefoot. Smashed the 3rd, 4th, and 5th toes on my right foot along with a good portion of the nail on those toes, and it took around 1 to 1.5 months to fully recover. Getting my ankle run over, gout, hands down it's gout. Okay, I'm just going to move it a little, let me know if it's too much. They barely adjust my ankle and I jerked so hard I hit my head on the wall behind me. Gallstones. Yep. Thought I was actually dying the first time I experienced an attack. Getting a baseball straight into my nuts. Oh gosh, I play softball and a pitch to the knee was enough. Golly, I play badminton and a shuttlecock to the elbow flattened me. This whole thread makes me feel like a privileged butthead. I've never felt excruciating pain. Don't feel too bad, pain is a physical experience but it's relative. Something that causes excruciating pain for one person can be a walk in the park for another person. When I was 7 I decided to go on a bike ride. Being the idiot I was, I thought I could go down a really steep road all by myself without supervision. This was just after I had learned to ride a bike. When I started to pick up speed I thought I should stop my bike, but instead of putting my feet down and slowly come to a halt, my dumbass thought I'll just squeeze the brakes and the bike will stop. Instead I went all the way down the road, crashed into someone's electrical box, and practically flew off my bike. I broke my right femur bone. That wasn't even the most painful part though. That was when my dad found me and thought yeah he looks fine and grabbed me by the arm to try and lift me off my feet. Obviously it hurt like hell. Greater than when I was 7. I read this as when I was 71. Was happy to find a person on Reddit older than me, though I wondered why it took you so long to learn to ride a bike. I guess I should go ahead and get those reading glasses. Physical, kidney stones, 6 times. Emotional, the unexpected death of the first love of my life after just 2 years of knowing her. Took a long time to get over that sufficiently to move on. Just experienced that emotional one a few months ago. Keep it going bro. I experienced it 20 years ago. Still hurts. Good luck to you both. Ectopic pregnancy burst. They said it was the size of a softball. Luckily, I survived. Greater than ectopic pregnancy burst, thank God alive. When I was a kid, I was prone to ear infections, so I got some tubes put in my ears. Later, wanting to avoid any further ear infections, my mom put some rubbing alcohol in my ears, as swimmers do sometimes, to clear out any standing water. Worst pain I can imagine. Like a hand grenade constantly going off in my head. I was thrashing and shrieking hysterically, and cried for nearly an hour after. She didn't believe that it was actually painful, so she did it again the next week, and the week after made me do it myself. I was convinced by that point that I was just a wimp and needed to get over it, so I did. She came upstairs because she heard my screams, from downstairs, through 2 doors and 2 pillows I had jammed on either side of my head to muffle the sound. We went to a doctor, he saw that the tubes were still in my ears. Asked, what would happen if, hypothetically, one was to put rubbing alcohol into their ears. Oh, it would be unimaginably painful. The alcohol would fully stimulate every single nerve inside their ears. No one would ever let you do that. Still not quite over it. Going to the dentist and hear the doctor say this is only going to hurt a little bit. I thought I trusted him. Dentists are sadists. Never believe them when they say it will only hurt a little bit. I have gone through natural childbirth twice, and the worst pain that I have ever felt was when I threw my back out. Constant searing pain with every movement. At least contractions give you breaks. Oh God, I feel this. I threw my back out and I stupidly tried to ignore it and power through the pain, which made it worse. I woke up the next morning in terrible pain and was unable to even get out of bed. I tried anyway, and started crying. I've had natural childbirth too, and it's never even a comparison to any pain or ailment I've had because, like you said, contractions give you breaks, and also you know it will be over eventually. All other pain is automatically made worse by the uncertainty of whether you'll be able to fully recover from it. At least that's how it is for me. Dislocated my hip by busting it through the front of my pelvis, destroying part of my pelvis, and tearing my hamstring 60% through, all in one swift motion. I need to know how you did this. Ouch. Playing ice hockey was in the splits. They crashed the net, being like 2 to 4 years older and larger than me, while one person was under one leg, shoved the rest of my body back as my legs stayed in place. Pancreatitis. I had acute idiopathic pancreatitis at 22. By the time I was being driven to the hospital, I was bent all the way over and groaning like I was about to give birth or something. Breaking 3 middle fingers on left hand. When I still had my ovaries, I would get cysts on them during a particularly stressful time in my life. There were a few instances of said cysts rupturing that happened to apparently be on the larger side. Edit, grammar and whatnot. Uck, I feel. The worst was when I had a hemorrhagic ovarian cyst burst and I was down for literally a week in so much pain before it lessened. I've broken bones that hurt similarly or less than that. 0-10 would not recommend. I had endometriosis in the early 70s before it had been properly diagnosed. Can tell you how many genos suggested I see a psychiatrist. I used to pass out from the pain. Head-on car accident. I was in a little Toyota Yaris and he was in a big 4-wheeled drive. I woke up in the ditch with searing pain in my neck that radiated down my arm, causing pins and needles and numbness. I also had very bad whiplash, including intense bruising. I would wake up every night with crushing chest pain. On top of that, I had a very bad concussion. I tore a contact and scratched off a good portion of my cornea when I was a junior in high school. Any light at all sent me into a spiral of pain. My dad was convinced it was allergies, so he had me take like 4 Benadryl. I still didn't sleep. When he finally took me to the doctor the next day, they put the dye in my eye to see if it was scratch. Half my eye turned orange. I wore an eye patch for like a week. I've had double knee surgery, broken bones, scratched my eye, had a brick wall fall on me, and many other injuries. But nothing compares to that terrible feeling. I was absolutely screaming all night long. Reconstructive tendon surgery on my hand. The local wasn't working and they couldn't give me any other anesthetic as I was hammered as fuck. The pain wasn't as bad as watching a guy pull 2 sides of a tendon out of the top of my hand and tie them together. Not gonna lie, that was pretty fucking weird. I had a hernia that turned into an infection. Basically my innie turned into an outie. Being 16 and invincible, I ignored it for a few days until I couldn't walk anymore. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I had my mom take me to the hospital. They put me into emergency surgery, and after waking up in the middle of surgery and having to be put back under, I awoke in a hospital bed with no belly button. Gods, I was strong then. Bobby B, is that you? My, you're a pretty one. And your name is? Not physical pain so much, but I had a major anxiety/depression breakdown where I couldn't eat for a week, was crying so much that my tears gave me a rash, literally couldn't force myself up off the bed/floor sometimes, couldn't escape thoughts of suicide for even 10 minutes, and lost the ability to want anything whatsoever. I felt like I couldn't scream hard enough to express what I was going through, no matter how long and loud and raw I cried. I checked myself into the hospital for a bit, started therapy and meds, quit and moved back home, started exercising and eating better, got back to work, and I'm doing okay now. I'm actually moving out of my mom's house and into my own place next week. I've been there. Keep pushing. Find purpose. Live, and see it through. Kidney stone. By far. Same. I once fell 45 feet down an escalator. I've had cysts so bad, they contorted my ovaries. I've been pepper sprayed. I'll do all of those things a million times over before I have another kidney stone. Nothing compares to these things. My first one was at 17 and got stuck. I was in so much pain, I blacked out and puked all over the EMTs. I had a constant drip of Vicodin that didn't touch the pain, so they finally upped me to dilaudid. 48 plus hours of constant smack D before they realized I needed surgery. Wouldn't wish that shit on my worst enemy. From just reading your comment I'm already getting the chills. Having my nail bed scraped to clean it after gauze was removed, the nail was removed in surgery, it was pretty much sandpaper on an open wound. I cut my thumb off in the same incident and that pain was 1/10 compared to my other finger that only had the nail pop off. Nurse said shouldn't hurt, ha. Fuck you, nurse. I read the word nail balls and scraped for some reason and I inferred the worst possible situation known to mankind. My stepbrother had killed himself and when my mom told me, it felt as though my heart was literally being ripped out of my chest. When I think about the day she told me, I can still feel that pain. My brother killed himself 5.5 months ago and it feels like it just happened yesterday. I can still feel the ache in my chest and my screams in my throat. This is the worst pain, by far. P.S. I hope you're doing okay. The pain is indescribable. I'm very sorry for your loss and I hope that you're doing okay as well. My stepbrother killed himself in 2016, and I want to tell you that the pain never goes away, but every day it gets a little easier. Take it one day at a time and allow yourself to cry. This is the best advice I have for crying. Make an appointment with yourself at what time you're available to cry and then let it all out at that time. I used to make appointments to cry for after school and when I was by myself. I know it sounds crazy, but it will make you feel like you have more control over yourself and the situation. I really do wish you and your family the best. Stay safe, you are loved. Chest tube being put in. Or taken out. Not sure. They both were equally fucking awful. I came here to say that. Having my chest tube pulled the screams out of me too. I have had a leg amputated for gangrene, a heart attack, half my esophagus and stomach removed, cancer, and osteomyelitis of my spine. The worst pain was when they put a pressure cuff on the leg to measure blood flow. I broke the table and would have broken the doctor if he hadn't been so fast. Oh my god, frown shit, I am so sorry you have gone through all that. It makes all my complaints feel so small. Actually, it's not so bad once it's over with. Take good care of your health when you're young. I didn't. Once in 11th grade I felt a small discomfort from a gas buildup and so I went until lunch to relieve myself. No way I'm going to be the dude who stank up the whole classroom and deafened the class. And nothing happened until 10 seconds later. It felt like my guts were trying to expand out of my torso and I couldn't move. I tried to get up and pulled my pants up and the fall down as it got worse. Tried calling for help but my voice didn't want to work and was more focused on making pain grunts. It took until one of my friends in 5th period, we have 5 classes a day and lunches after the 3rd, said where's up. I saw him at lunch. They checked the sign out sheet. Nope, didn't go home. So where? They looked first in the bathroom, thank God, and found me making his awful pain grunts as my guts inflated. Then one of the teachers had to get the principal to get the special stall unlocked, for when a holes lock the stall and then slide under to get out, and help me to a chair and get me into my mom's car and take me to the where I then had the gas expelled. And now, when I need to let one rip, I find a bathroom so I never have to be half carried out of a bathroom again. Wait, what happened to you? Most likely gas pain. Too much gas build-up in the intestine and it hurts like all hell. Falling 12-ish feet off of a playground onto my back when I was 12. Didn't break any ribs, but I couldn't run or bend over for a couple months. On the plus side, my abs got a little more defined because I was always flexing them involuntary from the back pain. Getting a tooth drilled without enough Novocaine. Ditto man. My last cavity was fairly massive because a previous filling had come loose. As my dentist put it, it was close to needing a root canal, so it was close to the nerve root. I frequently don't respond optimally to lidocaine, so it was not a huge surprise to me when I could feel everything, but my aversion to pain is second only to my aversion to spending an extra second in the dentist office, so I decided to tough it out. In retrospect, I really kinda wish I hadn't. My dentist refused to give me any type of painkiller, let alone sedation, when she did my root canal. I have no words to describe how much that hurt, but no amount of yelling and crying could change her mind. Needless to say, I go to a different dentist these days. The root canal was so badly done that said new dentist had to extract the tooth, there was nothing left to save. So all that pain was for nothing as well.